So, you may be wondering, what are you listening to? I've decided to start a podcast, and for this first episode, they're both staring at me very weirdly. I've decided to start a podcast, and for this first episode, we are joined by
Dan Rimmer, ex-student at Bournemouth University.
and this other majestic gentleman.
My name is Samuel Lloyd. You may know me from productions such as Nothing. Let's move on.
Sick! So, for this episode, we decided, because we all met at uni, we all know each other from uni, or we kind of pretend to like each other from uni, but we're going to talk about uni. You may have guessed that.
Who says we like each other?
Who says we like each other?
You're staring around my house, you better like me.
I think we just tolerate each other because we've got nothing better to do.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Funny joke.
Insert meme here.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I thought, for this, because we met at uni, I thought, why not just ask each other about uni, see how we differ our experiences, like, from different perspectives, different backgrounds, you know, just to see, like, how we found it personally, but also, like, how it kind of changed us as people, to kind of see, like, obviously we started from, like, college, sixth form, and then how, like, from our career perspectives and what we wanted to do, and, like, has that changed and stuff like that. So let's get into it, shall we? Dan has written an essay on his phone for this, so...
No, that's not true. It's fake news.
No, we're not Donald Trump. We're not Donald Trump's, Dan. We're not Donald Trump.
Just like in school, I have prepared absolutely nothing. And
Neither have I. I'm winging this.
Hoping to just wing it and come out just about okay, as I normally did.
Okay, so, well, for people who aren't uni, even though I guess this is going to be mostly based for people who went to uni with us, introduce yourselves, Daniel.
So, are you on about my name, or are you on about my experience?
Just introduce yourself, and, like, who are you? Where are you from? What do you want to do?
So, yeah, I'm Dan, and I studied at Bournemouth University.
We get that bit.
Which I've already mentioned. And I originally come from Manchester, England. And yeah, we, like the other two, I studied television production at uni, and obviously I wanted to go into TV production as well. And I'm currently doing that now after graduating uni.
What do you do, Dan?
So I'm currently a freelance runner within sports television and entertainment television.
He's going to whip out his scroll, like, here's my list of employers.
Yes, working with mainly with BT Sport at the minute, which is good fun.
And everyone else.
Yeah.
And a few others.
And then there's us, who doesn't have nothing.
Oh, I don't have nothing. I guess I'm a bit... I mean, I always wanted to go to uni in Cardiff, which is where I'm from, but then I went on an open day to Bournemouth just to make my dad happy, because he wanted me to live away from home, and it turns out that was the right sort of place for me. That I suppose my perspective is a bit different from yours, because I think I'm the only one out of us who did sixth form instead of college, right?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
And I found the jump... I actually found the jump from GCSE to sixth form bigger than the jump from sixth form to college, which is something uni, which is something I didn't expect. So, I mean, how did you find the jump from GCSE to college?
Well, I know you did the A level route, didn't you? And I went down the vocational BTEC route. So I think the transition was actually a lot easier for me, because I think in some respects A levels are actually a lot more challenging than a degree in terms of the volume of work and the subjects that you don't actually go on to do at uni, but you take them anyway, and it's very challenging, I think, from what I've heard.
A levels are basically, in terms of workload, it's basically doing 3 degrees in 2 years.
Yeah.
Which, and sometimes coming out of sixth form and into uni, especially in first year, I sometimes just felt like there was nothing to do. Pretty much, basically, all you had to do is show up and do the bare minimum, and you got a first. Yeah. Sometimes, it was kind of a bit. It was because it was a huge step going from GCSE to A level, and then at the end of A level, I felt like I'd already sort of reached the same kind of intensity as you would in university in third year, and then going back to first year is kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with TV being a largely, say, vocational, very practical oriented specialism, I think certainly for me doing a BTEC at college and getting hands on making my own films as well as doing the essay side of things, it made the transition into the work side of uni. I don't know about you, Vicky, but it made that a lot easier for me. I know you did the vocational route as well.
Yeah, so like how I did it, I just basically, well, I kind of like, in terms of like falling in love with the TV aspect of the career, it's kind of like I decided like, obviously you may find out in another episode about how me and Sam are massive Doctor Who fans. That may be coming up. I haven't told him yet, but
What?
what?
You got to book me in advance, Vicky.
I've
You
got
can't
to book
tell
you.
me these things.
It's a VIP guest.
I've got to like schedule him in. No, so like I fell in love with like watching like behind the scenes stuff on Doctor Who, like all the confidential stuff. Rest in peace. I just fell in love with that, and I just kind of from there decided to do GCSE media. I'm not going back to that because that was hell.
No, A-level media studies was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. It's a waste of a qualification.
Yeah.
No offence to my media studies teacher, but I mean, I distinctly remember it was mostly essays and things, but there were 2 practical units, one for each year. And the practical unit for the first year was we had to make a CD cover. It was only after a CD cover, yes.
We had to make magazine covers.
It basically just had to make a CD cover in Photoshop. Oh yeah, magazine cover was
we did that.
second year, but CD cover was, so I did the whole CD cover, and then it was only then that I showed my teacher my YouTube channel. And he was just sort of thought, oh my god, there's a person in my class who actually wants to be here and didn't choose it because it seemed like an easy option. So I was actually allowed to make a film for second year while everyone else did.
Cool.
While everyone else did magazine covers. And that was fun. I got the highest mark. I got 99 out of 100. Although I still don't know. I don't entirely know where that 1 mark went, but I'm pretty sure it's because in the reflection essay I wrote about twice as much as I was supposed to. It was a 2,000 word essay and I wrote at least 4,000.
Very much guilty of overwriting, yeah.
Yeah, so like... yeah, so again, I decided through GCSE media, I decided like when I was doing this, I was like, do I like this? Am I going to pursue this as a career? Because I don't know, throughout my life I was kind of like, I'm going to be like when you're younger, like I don't know about you guys, I was like, I'm going to be a singer when I'm older. Like when I'm in primary school, like I'm going to be a singer, I'm going to release loads of albums and cool songs with cool people.
For me it was footballer, yeah.
The first thing
that's not surprising.
I mean, for me the first thing I ever wanted to do was to be an author, and that is still a dream that exists.
I was like that. I was kind of like, I could actually be, because like, I don't know, in your schools, but like, did you ever have to like write like a poem in a book that would get published or something?
Yeah, I did it primary school. Yeah.
Mine's still on the wall at my primary school. It's been there for like 15 years now.
Yeah, like I would always, like, we get into the academic writing side of uni, but I was always like, oh, I could be a singer. Then I was like, I like interior design, because I do like interior design, but I say more as a hobby, like dressing up my own flat rather than doing it as a career. So then I was like going down different routes, like, what should I do? And it was like, I like writing. So I decided, okay, I'll go to college, because Bath College I went to rather than like Wiltshire and Trowbridge where I'm from. So I was like, okay, I'll go to Bath because it's well known for like more media style, because Bath, if you don't know what Bath is, it's in Somerset. It's like creative.
Never heard of it.
How dare you? It's a creative place. Like there's a lot of photographers in Bath. There's a lot of journalists. Obviously, you've got loads of newspaper companies there. You've got loads of studios and photography places. And I decided to go to Bath, and then through there, like first year from college, I assume it's the same in most colleges where you do like multiple things in the first year. Then you get to decide what you do properly on the second year. Like we did like, again, magazines. We did animation, which I was absolutely shit at. Just to clarify.
See, I would have been very happy if I'd got to do animation.
I mean, it was like not more animation. It was like, well, I can't remember. It was an Adobe software, but it was like Stickman. You had to make it move. And
we did that. We did stop motion and 2D animation. So we did a stop motion where we create our own story, and then we didn't individually photograph the characters frame by frame, and then animate them, and then obviously we did a 2D animation as well.
That's what I do.
Yay! No, you would have loved Steve. My God, you and Steve Spicer from Bath College. Hello, if you're listening, you're probably not, but you would love him. He's great. So yeah, we did like interactive stuff. We did. What else did we do? We did a bit of film. We did like we did like. I really can't remember what we did. We did the stop motion. We did the magazines. We did a bit of film. And obviously there was the theory side, which there always is. I remember the film side I was drawn more towards, because even though college was more film than TV, because it was like it's easier, it's like not easier, but it's easier to teach rather than all like the complicated bits of TV which we knew from uni. But like I was like, I'm drawn to the visuals, I like the visual stuff, and then obviously then you choose which one you want to go. You can either go down the journalism route, or journalism like the interactive magazine stuff, or you can do the film. And like most of it, won't go into it too much, but like most of the film were boys. There was only 3 girls. Most of the girls chose the journalism side. Pretty much all the boys chose the film, and there was me and 2 other girls who did the film. And I remember through that, I'll get into like mental health and that in another episode by myself, but that's kind of where my anxiety started from. I don't know where it sprung from. No idea, it disappeared, but even though through that college, I just remember that moment that I got that confidence to start writing more frequently is when, because I used to write scripts, like again going back to Doctor Who roots, I used to write fan fiction scripts of Doctor Who where I take the Doctor and make my own companions and create that story myself to see where I could take it. And I used to do that, and I actually have some upstairs.
Oh, I want to read them.
No, you don't.
Yes, I want to.
No, it's terrible. Yeah. Like, it's written by like a 14-year-old Vicky. It's literally terrible. Senseless needs rewriting because it's similar tones, but
So how did you get from there to TV then?
Okay, no, so like I would write these scripts, and then I was like, I actually really like writing them because I don't know, I'm just taking my imagination, because I've always been quite an imaginative person, and I always like, I don't know, I always create stories. I love creating stories. When I was young, I used to like talk to my guinea pigs and stuff, like tell them about like other guinea pigs or something. I don't know. I'm not making this up. I used to just talk to I still talk to my cat now. Come on, he doesn't talk to their animals. But I mean, I used to tell stories to my mum. I used to like exaggerate slightly on things that happened at school to mum, like, oh my God, this happened yesterday. Oh no. And then I used to just take it further and further. So when it came to knowing that writing was an actual job, like obviously when I was younger, I used to think that bloody TV was actually made inside the screen. Like, come on, it's like there's a little man in there. Look, there's a baby bell in the TV right now.
I always used to imagine when I was watching, I don't know, a TV show with a presenter who's talking directly to the audience. I always thought that they were looking back at me through a TV of their own.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought.
And then when I switched the TV off, they just kind of went, oh, he's gone.
No, yeah, so literally, I used to think that. So then, when I wrote these Doctor Who scripts, I did like 8 seasons, I did 2 spin-offs, I did my own version of Torchwood, because I was like, when I got to like 15, I was like, okay, I'm more of an adult now, even though I wasn't an adult. I decided to make not like racy stuff, but
racy stuff.
No, I mean like kind of, more adult stuff, or like more like mature, mature like violent stuff. Like obviously Doctor Who, you don't get the violent. What would you do kind of thing.
I think as you get older in terms of writing, I think your brain matures as well. So
yeah.
your writing becomes more mature. Yeah, you try and do reflect kind of the not real world things, but you know what I mean, more real stuff.
Yeah, like a BBC drama kind of style compared to like CBBC kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like I remember I decided to write my own stuff. I honestly can't remember where Amelia Jones, who is a main character in Senseless, which I'll get into someone else, I don't know where she came from. I think I had the idea because I started actually, I know where it came from. I was on BBC Three when BBC Three used to be on TV. I switched it on one night and there was the finale of Sherlock when he jumps off the roof.
Oh, right.
And I was like, oh, what's this? And obviously I didn't know what the show was. This was the end. Obviously this is when he jumped off the roof, died, didn't actually die. And it kind of grew from there, my interest in this dramatic kind of writing. I was like, I could do something like this. So I then came up with this story about Amelia Jones and other characters, and it kind of progressed. Have either of you seen Sherlock?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the scene, I think it's in the first episode, where they're on like a
I warned you.
No, I'll stop when you sneeze. The bit in the episode where I think they're doing what are they called when they're talking to the cameras about a murder or something, you know, like the panel kind of thing, where like press thing.
Oh yeah.
You know when all their phones go off and they get a message from Sherlock saying it's fake or something. They all
Okay, now you've lost me.
No, basically they're doing that, and Sherlock somehow texts everyone in the room
The
and
press
saying,
conference.
Yeah. So Sherlock, the character, texts everyone in the room saying something. I had that. I was like, that'd be quite cool, just doing sentences. Then I sat for a second, like, hang on, that's exactly the same as exactly the same as Sherlock. I can't do that because obviously the copyright thing. Even though it wouldn't matter too much. But I was like, okay, I'll wait on it. So I sat on it and I just kept thinking, and there it came. It just started flowing out, if you want to put it that way. And then I did. So where the confidence came from, which is helpful now, was like if I didn't have the confidence from these certain people, I wouldn't be sitting right now doing this. I'd be like, no one wants to hear me. No one wants to listen to my stories and stuff. So I got the confidence. I basically, because my tutor in college, we used to have we used to have a tutor. We used to sit down with him like every few weeks, and he would like talk to us about our progress and stuff. And then I told him that I liked writing. He's like, okay, give me one of your scripts and I'll give you some feedback. His twin brother was a TV producer. I think he still is, actually. And I wrote a film called I Won't Give Up. May actually make it one day, so I won't reveal too much. But it's basically like, it's a drama, but it's like quite a sad drama. Like, and it was a feature film then, so it was about 70 pages long. I gave that to him, and I was expecting, like loads of feedback, like this needs to change. And I remember, because we had our tutors, like our teachers, and then we had a technician who like was in charge of all the equipment and stuff. We used to hire out from him. And then I remember me and my friend, we were walking back from lunch, and he goes, "Is either one of you called Vicky?" And I was like, "Yeah, what have I done?" I was thinking I was in trouble. I'd done something. Fine, it was me. I'll own up to it. He goes, I just read your script and it's one of the best scripts I've ever read. And not to blow my own trumpet, but that did feel really good. When someone tells you you've done a really good job and you feel really proud of yourself.
Satisfaction,
yeah. He was just saying it's one of the best scripts I've ever read. And I just took that with pride, like, oh, someone likes my writing. Maybe this is meant to be, kind of thing. And then I remember we went into the lesson. We were in first year at this point as well. There's 2 years at college. And it was the end of the first year. All the second years were like in the next room. And I remember Ed, his name was, he just, at the end of the lesson, he goes, "Vicky, I've read your script, by the way. It's absolutely phenomenal." And I was just like, thanks.
You took a lot from it.
I took a lot from it, and I still remember it from this. I remember it crystal clear. That's why it's always stuck with me. It's because he was like, "It's really phenomenal." He didn't give me not that it wouldn't need improving, because it did. I've improved it since. But from that moment, I was just like, these are people who are being trained in the industry. Not so much our uni lecturers, but they have been trained in the industry. They're related to people who are in the industry.
They know how it works.
They know how it works. They know the quality standard of things now. And to know that I had written something that they didn't go, that needs work changing, that needs changing. It just felt good to know that someone would actually like my work. And that's where he so I think I wrote it on like Word or something. And then that's who directed me to Celtex and the whole like competition kind of side of it, which I've actually entered a few myself years ago. But again, we always know the industry there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have probably 30 years experience in this who are more likely going to win these type of things. So again, being a 21-year-old in a world surrounded by other people who have more experience than you, it's always going to be difficult. And I guess from there I just kind of wrote Senseless, and obviously we're getting to Mask separately, but like you keep progressing about it, and then I don't know, the confidence knowing that someone likes your work, I don't know, that's always a thing.
Confidence in your own ability basically to write these scripts.
Yeah, like I never had the confidence to write these things because I was like, when we did our drama in second year, obviously we knew how big of a struggle that was. Many different reasons why that was a struggle.
Oh god, yeah.
But
I never want to relive that.
No. But I remember, I think it was when the script, someone laughed at something, and then, why would you write that? I'm like, and that same point is like, don't tell me it's good, then laugh about it later. Just if it's bad, tell me now. Like obviously when I was saying to you, like just tell me the truth about the script.
Yeah.
Like if you think, oh, this could change, I'll think about it, and if I feel like it doesn't need to be changed, then I will prove that point. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a weakness or a strength having the ability to not like your own work. I don't know. Like I think everyone does it. Everyone doesn't.
I think you should always strive to critique your own work.
Yeah, but when you do it like constantly, like it's not. I don't think it's just a work thing. I think it's just a general thing. I'm not confident in myself. Like sitting here recording my own voice, I wouldn't have done that like a year ago. I didn't have the confidence to do it. I don't know where it just came from. Like talking to so many people, you guys, other people, just kind of like obviously there's only so much you can do on social media to promote your work. Like Instagram, you can't put a podcast on Instagram. You can't put YouTube videos on Instagram. That's why you have to do the proper thing. So this is why I'm doing it, because creating like short films and scripts and everything and getting it out there without making it and having all this money to make this film, this is the kind of way I'm starting to do it, so then I have a chance to go out there in a way. But you know, it's just a start and it's helpful. So you might see you will see my face even though you don't want to.
So what about the actual experiences of uni then? I think, you know, everyone will kind of to draw upon what we've kind of learned and what we've kind of experienced, especially from the start, moving to uni.
Yeah, there's
from home.
Well, there's different aspects of it, I suppose. Like speaking as someone who obviously we've all come out of uni. We left uni about 6 months ago almost.
Yeah,
now.
6 months ago now. Yeah.
That's gone very quick.
Oh yeah.
We actually just graduated.
Yeah, we graduated a few weeks ago. Yeah, and that's. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to speak from at this point, leaving uni. Obviously, we left uni 6 months ago. Would I go back and change it? Yes, because from my personal perspective, I never went out. But I think the uni side of it, like the course side of it, I wouldn't change.
No, I would agree with that. Yeah.
But the personal outside of uni life, I would, because I'm very, 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 as these guys know, introverted. I never went out. I went out once to a comedy night. That was in the first few weeks. Like I went out with friends, like in the daytime, but it was never like nighttime. I never went clubbing. I don't drink. I don't really like loud music in a tight environment when it's
I think it's quite
everyone's
difficult.
Screaming and dancing and everyone's drunk and you never know what can happen. Like my mum always goes, "Oh, if you do go out, be careful you don't get spiked or anything," which would always, I don't know, it would always freak me out, I guess. And I was like, I remember there were certain parties, weren't there, where people were disappointed that I wasn't there, and I just felt bad. Like I used to, it sounds sad, but I used to sit in my room and go, I regret this. But I don't know, like the uni side of it, I wouldn't, like the course side of it, I wouldn't change. Like, there are things I could have done better, but in terms of reverting it around to something else, no.
I think for me it was the kind of the move into uni really sort of shaped who I am kind of today. I'd never been so far away from home before, because I'm obviously based in the northwest, and I live 300 miles away from Bournemouth, and it was a real challenge. I think to think that I was actually living like closer to France than I was to my own home. It was crazy to think, because Bournemouth is quite a long way away from where I am. Then again, I probably got nothing on international students that I guess make the insane journeys, and I'll maybe even have to cope with the language barrier. It's quite a difficult thing, but I think I distinctly remember my mum and dad on the first day before uni, me actually moving in, dropping me off in a place that I'd never actually visited before, because I'd never actually properly visited Bournemouth before. It just seemed like a million miles away from home. It was probably the most daunting and confusing experience I've ever had, really. Sort of being dropped off in the middle of nowhere. My heart pretty much sank. To be kind of separated from my parents and my home life and my home friends. I got a place through clearing as well, which made it quite hard, because I didn't get to live with anyone either. I didn't have really any flatmates or the opportunity to look into the flatmate kind of option. So I was kind of plunged into a world already in my first year where I was looking for my own place and coping with that financially as well, because it's a big financial burden, especially in your first year, to kind of find your own place. And sort of that kind of meant I missed out on the real proper student experiences of first year that I eventually went on to experience in the second and the third year. And then of course there's the reality of actually enrolling at uni, and on your first couple of days where you just feel completely lost, finding your way to uni on the bus, trying to find out where you are, what classes you've got. And the potential difficulty as well, finding new friends for the first time. I think
still not done it.
The whole experience is so daunting. It's I think sometimes for the opening week or two, especially, the only feeling that you have is just fear and doubt. I think for everyone, you think, what have I done? Is this the right move? Was I right moving this far away?
Yeah, I had that feeling.
You're just overwhelmed with fear. But I think that does, in time, that does go away. I remember, especially because my first week, actually, I remember that quite well, because I remember obviously the start of it, like I say, I was overwhelmed by the sort of the whole situation, and it was so daunting, and I was just so fearful and doubtful of what uni might be. And I think after the first couple of days, because our first week we only had the first 2 days actually in uni, I decided to take the 5-hour train back home, because I missed home so much. And after all that worrying and that kind of disconnection with Bournemouth as a place, I think I remember distinctively going on that train back home and leaving Bournemouth for the first time, and actually drifting away from the station, and minute by minute being close to home. I actually felt sad for the first time that I was leaving Bournemouth, because in that first 5 or 6 days, even though I didn't know it or didn't realise it, I was actually developing a connection with Bournemouth, and it was ever so slightly starting to feel like home. You get used to your own space, your own independence, you get used to your routine. And that's where it kind of all began, really. The rest is kind of history. From there, I would say week by week, month by month, I don't know about you guys, but it gets easier.
Yeah.
Being away from home, you do get used to your own routine, you do get used to going shopping, you do get used to going into uni, you do get used to the work schedule, because the work was, remember the opening lecture that we had with all our other students on our course, and we were told by our course leader how difficult this was going to be, and we believed him, because we didn't really know what we were going into. We'd been to open days and things, we'd read things online, but we didn't know how difficult it was going to be. And at that time, it felt like, not just from the the kind of living away experience side of it, but also the educational side of it, the academic side of it, it felt like it was going to be a mammoth task as well. But week by week, month by month, it does get easier, and you do find that, you know, you'll take less and less trips home. You know, for me, I would go home every 4 weeks or so in the first year, and then after that it became 5 weeks, and then 6 weeks, and then 7 weeks, and you don't really think about it when you're doing it, but you do get used to it.
Yeah, I was like that. I had similar experience. Like, I remember on my first day, this was not even uni, this was like the first day of moving into my flat. The people I lived with were lovely to me, but they were party animals.
Yeah.
They liked drinking, they liked clubbing, they liked loud music, being in ruckus when they were drunk. And I remember on that first day, I moved in first. I was the first one. I'm always bloody early to things. I remember I moved in. My mum was like cleaning everything. Then they all started to pile in. They were like, "Okay, we're going to get our, like the wristbands."
Yeah.
I bought one because I was like, "I'm gonna join in. I'm gonna be a fresher." No, I didn't use it once. And I remember we were on the way walking towards the fire station. Left my mum back at the flat. And I just remember thinking they were talking about like what alcohol they're gonna buy, what music do they like, how loud do they like the music,
yeah,
and
it's
that.
a world that's completely different to yours.
Yeah, like I'm very not like that. Not that I've had conversation with people before. I've had another friend of ours said to me like, I remember like, you don't mind drinking, do you? Like, I do get drunk. I'm like, I don't mind you getting drunk as long as you don't try to get me drunk and then get me involved in it. Because I'm fine with you getting drunk as long as you don't. Like, I don't know. It's not that I will never drink in my life. I've tried alcohol. I have alcohol in the fridge, which I'm not probably one of you two probably gonna drink it, but like well, I'll get into that separately.
You never really got into it.
I can do a whole alcohol episode on a bloody podcast, but no, it wasn't me, and I can just feel when we were walking. I can just feel them like I can just feel it going. Oh, I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna hate this. I'm gonna hate. I'm not even thinking about the course. It's like I'm gonna hate this. I start drinking it, and I got back in the flat. I guess I said to my mum, "I'm going home. I don't want to do it."
No.
And I remember I just started crying. I was like, "I don't want to do it. They're gonna force me to do things. They're gonna force me to do things." Obviously, thinking because I was bullied in school for being, I don't know. The weight thing's not really necessary now compared to then, but it was more like, oh, she's quite quiet, she's quite shy, she's like an easy target kind of thing. So I was like, I
protecting yourself.
Yeah, because my mum's always been very, very, very protective of me because of her past and stuff. So, I was like, I just don't want to do it. I want to go home. I started packing my stuff. She goes, no, stop it, and think about the repercussions of that. Like, you've not even started your course yet. You start in 2 days. And I remember I was like, okay, fine, I'll stick it out. And I remember I got so upset that first weekend. Like, my dad come and picked me up, took me home, just so I could spend like the weekend at home. That was like after the first week of uni, I think. Do you remember the photo day when we had to go and get our photos taken for our ID cards?
Yeah.
I overslept. I remember going, shit, it's like 10 o'clock, shit, and I had to literally jump on that bus, like look at the bus, like, hurry up. But luckily I made it just in time, so it was fine, even though I looked an absolute state in that photo. Yeah, I just feel like it took me a while to get used to it, because I've always been a family person. But
yeah, me too, yeah.
The more, like Dan said, like the more we got into it, the less I relied on my mum. That's not to sound like I don't rely on my mum, because I do sometimes. But like, I don't know, it's just kind of like you feel like, oh, I don't want to go home, I want to stay here, kind of thing.
You do get used to your own routine. You have your own way of doing things, and that freedom to choose when you go shopping, or choose when you go out, or choose when you see your friends, choose when you work. There's something quite unique and quite amazing about having your own kind of pattern, because I think for the first 16, 17, how many ever years of education before you go to uni, everything is laid out on a silver platter for you. Everything is timed, everything is scheduled, even from the moment you wake up and you get changed to the moment you leave school. At the end of the day at 3 o'clock, 3:15, whatever. And you come home and everything is kind of the same. It's the same rhythm, but it's all laid out for you. And you're kind of almost told what to think and how to behave. But I think there's something quite unique about uni, because that all goes away. And even though that is the most daunting thing about it initially, it's also the best thing about it, because you do get to choose how you live your life, when you do things, why you do things, choosing to do things, choosing not to do things. I think, like I say, if for anyone that's listening, if you're just starting, it's really daunting. It's really, really daunting. And you think about packing it in, but it's that fear soon turns into freedom and excitement. I don't know about you, Sam, what your kind of experience was with transitioning from a home to uni.
I don't know, I wasn't really all that daunted by the whole prospect of it. I got on with my flatmates pretty well from the get-go. We had very different interests. They took it to a different level than I did, quite a lot, but we still got on pretty well. I mean, I'd never been on a proper night out before I went to uni, but on the first night I went along with my flatmates and it was fine. I mean, I still don't really enjoy that side of it all that much. They do things very differently than I would like to. I enjoy just being able to talk with my friends over a couple of drinks, as opposed to being in a crowded room with loud blaring music that I hate. But I mean, I guess the first moment when it really hit me that I'd probably left home was the first time I went back again. That was sort of the first time I was upset about leaving home, was after I'd gone back the first time, and I was only there for a weekend. It was a really short amount of, I think I was there for just over 24 hours. It was a really short amount of time, and it all just kind of hit me at that moment.
Kind of realised what you were missing out on.
I guess so, yeah. But then I went back to uni and it was completely fine. I was happy to be back with my friends and stuff. I guess the one thing I would say about uni is it's an awfully big decision to be making at such a young age. That's something that's only sort of hit me very recently, is just how big a commitment it is when you're at an age where you really don't know what you want out of life. I mean, I'm from Wales, so I left my country to go to uni, and then I came back and I realised that I live in an area where not an awful lot of people actually do go to uni. Most of the people who work in TV in my area just did an apprenticeship or something, so I'm automatically at a huge disadvantage because I've been away. I don't really know anyone, and even besides that, I've kind of been disillusioned with the whole traditional TV industry side of things anyway, so I've been sort of looking for an alternative, something that I can actually use my degree for. Like I said before, I mean, the thing I wanted to be for the longest was a writer, so I'm sort of looking for a way into that side of things as opposed to traditional TV work, because there's no real way in unless you know people, and I do know people, but they've all but that was before I went to uni, and now they've all kind of moved on with their own lives, so I've found myself in this weird bubble where I've got nowhere really to go. And if I knew now what I knew before, I probably wouldn't have gone to uni. So if I, when I was 18, if I'd had the knowledge that most people who wanted to do what I wanted to do at the time didn't go to uni, I probably wouldn't have gone. But then also I would have missed out on this whole experience where I became...
You wouldn't be right here, would you?
Well, no, I wouldn't be here with you. I wouldn't be the person I am today, without a doubt. I was a very different person before I started uni. I was nowhere near as confident. Almost straight away, I'd had this massive burst in confidence. I was meeting new people. I was going out more. I was actually making more out of my time, and that was all great. And I honestly don't know if that would have happened to me if I'd stayed at home and done a TV apprenticeship and just found my way into the industry in the way that most people in my area do.
Yeah.
So it's I guess if you're deciding if uni's right for you, then it's kind of important to make sure you know exactly what it is that you want out of the experience. I mean, you don't even necessarily have to go to uni straight out of school or college. You can wait a couple of years if that's what you want.
That's what I did actually. I think
that's sort of what I wish I'd done. I wish I'd given it a year maybe to figure everything out.
Yeah.
But then also I wouldn't have met you guys, and everything would be completely different.
What I was thinking.
I might have become a totally different person altogether. I was thinking about that. Like when I was booking my accommodation for first year, I very almost picked the house next door, and for some reason something in my head told me, no, go for that house, go for that room, and I ended up meeting some people who are going to be my friends for life.
Yeah. And
they had a huge impact on me in those first few weeks and months of uni, and I don't think I'd be the person I am without them. And so it's really difficult. It's not like I can't say that I regret uni, because yes, there are things I missed out on by going to uni, but there are also things that I would have missed out on by not going to uni.
Yeah.
It's kind of a difficult line to toe, especially at such a young age.
Yeah. I think it's a really interesting point you make about transitioning to uni or not transitioning to uni straight from college or straight from sixth form, because I initially went to Edge Hill University, which is near where I live, straight out of college after I left college. I think there is a lot of pressure on colleges, or from colleges rather, on students to go straight to uni at the age of 18, and I don't actually think that's the right approach. I think
I did feel the same way from sixth form as well. They basically didn't. Basically the whole of the last year of sixth form was almost geared towards preparing you for uni. They didn't really tell you an awful lot about what the other options were, because I completely understand that in terms of me coming from Wales, because they want graduates. They want people who are going to go to uni go to the better unis in England and bring back skills.
Yeah, to contribute to the local economy.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of the pushing from colleges and sixth forms to go to uni, a lot of it is down to statistics and them looking good. It's more of a reflection on them than it is you. And I think if you are listening to this, there is nothing wrong with doing what I did, because I went to uni straight out of college and then ended up dropping out of the course. I did TV and film at Edge Hill. And I must have spent 4 months there, and I just decided it wasn't for me. I think it was I joined in the September and I left in the January because I just didn't like the course, and it was too soon really. I didn't know. I went into it thinking that, because it was local, it was going to be all fine and dandy. And actually, the most important thing when picking to go to university or picking a university is not about the location. Actually, it's not about necessarily what it's like as an area. I think those things are all secondary. I think the most important thing is the course or what you get out of the course. And Bournemouth is, I think, without doubt, the best course in the country for the media industry and the television industry, with the connections that it has. I wouldn't be sitting here today with the experiences that I've got without having the people to talk to at university about my career. So, but I did take a year out, and I did some work in local TV. Thankfully, the sort of the TV kind of industry in Manchester in the northwest has improved significantly over the last 10 years or so. So that has really helped me out. But I did some volunteer work at a local TV station and kind of got some real world experience, kind of for the first time in 18 years. I'd spent a year, maybe, it was the most time really I'd ever spent actually living and staying at home, and I got the feeling, the experience of what it's like to stay at home all the time. And it's a novelty at first. It's really fun. It's watching daytime TV. It's choosing when you don't want to do or do want to do things, But after a few months, that novelty wears off, I think, of not doing anything at home, and that's kind of where the motivation for me came from of what kind of do I do now. And I remember I went on a family holiday to Dorset, and I got a little taste of Bournemouth, and that's kind of where it came from, really. After all that time, I'd obviously heard about Bournemouth as students I was at college that went to Bournemouth. From where I was, it's a big distance, and for me that was just too overwhelming. It didn't even enter my head to go that far straight out of college. But I think that year away, that year at home, and that year having my own kind of real world experiences really propelled me to take the leap of faith and look at a course like I had at Bournemouth that was really going to set me on the right path.
So, thinking now, how much has Sam kind of dwelled on it? I mean, in terms of your career-wise, me personally, I always knew that I wanted to be a writer. I knew I was going to be a writer. I know that I do want to still do that. I know, Dan, you've obviously with conversation with you, I'll do camera, or I can do producing, I can do this.
Yeah, I'm still kind of a bit confused about in terms of what I want to do at the moment. For TV, I think it's quite easy because I think the first point of entry, no matter what path you go down, is almost always a runner of some sorts. It's a general dog's body, if you like. So being a runner is what I do now. But in terms of actually knowing what I want to do exactly, I'm not quite at that point yet. I've just come to accept that that's pretty normal. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, you don't I think that's someone I think touched upon it. You don't have to go into uni going, I want to do this, I'm going to do this. There are certain people like myself, I want to be a writer. Because again, I always get asked that. There's a script writing course at uni. Most unis have some sort of a creative writing course. I'm always asked, why didn't you do the script writing course? The reason why I didn't do a script writing course is because I want to try out producing, I want to try out directing, I wanted to try out camera editing and all that.
Script writing is very specific. There's only really one route we can go down, and that's a script writer. But whereas TV gives you
it gives you more of a range of jobs. Because obviously I don't want to just be a writer. I want to when I'm older, when I get into my 40s and 50s, I want to be an executive producer. And I guess even though you learn so much about that when you're in script writing, but TV, I can, as one of our lecturers kept saying to me, you can't dabble in it, you have to do one or the other, which is rubbish in my opinion, because as writers who have produced, not that you direct and produce at the same time, but
no.
There are writers who I admire who have produced things, they've directed things, they've wrote things, they've done everything.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong at all with writing and doing all the pre-production yourself and also having a go of it.
Yeah, producers and writers, they go together. Directors and writers, they go together. With Master, I directed and wrote it. It's a thing where you don't have to go, oh, I definitely want to do that. Again, I always knew I wanted to be a writer. I've always thought, maybe I could do directing. That's why I chose to do a directing specialism in the third year. But after doing that, I could see myself doing it again, but I want to do it a lot better than I did the last time. We'll get into this when we did a master one, and I did my commentary, because it's going to come up. There's, it's a confidence thing, but there's always going to be things, I could have done that a lot better, I could have done that a lot better. The dissertation, let's get into that. Dissertation, yes, because I feel like we're all kind of, not saying that you two are similar, but you two not prefer academic writing, but you're better at it, it's a strength of yours. I'm the complete opposite. Academic writing to me, I was very proud of, considering I thought I was going to get a much lower grade in my dissertation than I did. I was never, ever, ever expecting to get a massive high grade on it. Put the magic stars down, Daniel. It's always been a struggle of mine. Stop rattling the bag!
We need a snack break.
So these guys, in my opinion, have academic writing as a strength. I'm the opposite. Like, it's one of my weaknesses. I don't know. I'm very proud of the grade that I got my dissertation, considering I thought it was going to be like 50s. And I've honestly thought I liked writing it, I must admit, but because I have a history with blogging and creative writing and storytelling, not in script mode, but like author mode, that's not a thing, but you know, like writing books and stuff like that, I always, as I've been told, I write like I talk.
Yeah, you have a very like first person simplistic kind of writing style.
Hayley, one of our lecturers, she literally said to me, I think it was after our location production essay we had to do, and I remember I was really proud of that, even though I was a bit brutal in that essay. I don't know, I feel like I let my emotions get a hold of me for that essay, which I regret, but I remember I had a conversation with her, and she recommended to me that I would go and talk to, like, there was these people that were trained in teaching new academic styles, and I actually never did go to them. And then, I don't know, I feel like, oh, if I do that, I seem like a weirdo, I seem like I'm weak, that's what I thought. I didn't, but then again, would it have give me a better grade for the dissertation? Maybe. But again, can't go back, and I'm not disappointed in my grade, considering that it literally made me cry about 5 times a day, that damn dissertation. But I don't know, because with academic writing, as obviously we're taught, and if you want to do it, you're also taught it. Like in college, it wasn't more academic, it was more research kind of thing we did in college.
Yeah, we didn't get anything. Yeah, ours was like analysis and things, like contextual analysis.
Yeah, that's I can do that. That's fine, because I remember at college when we did our final major project, we had to I did all this research on foreshadowing, butterfly effect, all that kind of stuff. I made like a massive report on it. She goes, "That's a dissertation." I got excited, but it's not actually graded. And I'm like, oh, because I thought it was graded. They may have said that, I probably wasn't paying attention. And that I was like, oh, damn it. But then that was like, oh, I can do academic writing. No. When it got to essays and stuff we did in first year, I remember the highest grade I got on an essay, I did it about feminism in Gotham. I don't know, it's just kind of, I'm more of an observer, so I this happened, this could mean this. Like, I write how I talk. It's like I was doing a podcast, but it's on paper kind of thing. That's how my academic writing comes out. But, I don't know, do you, from your guys' perspectives, did you, I don't know if it's a thing where I didn't really do it much in school. Like, academic writing in school, for me, wasn't really... It was more storytelling in school.
For me, it was something, again, that you just gradually, for me, you get better at. I was always quite literate, I would say. I kind of...
Yeah, you are quite...
I like to think about what I say before I say it, kind of thing. I don't let my words just fall out straight out of my brain. I like to think of synonyms. I like to think of different ways of saying things rather than saying the same thing. It's just something that I gradually got better at. I think from school and then on to college, I wrote quite a lot of essays, a lot of creative essays, and I guess I just took on the feedback that I was given with regarding my punctuation and my spelling was never really an issue for me, but in terms of grammar and things like that, and it's something that I never really struggled with, to be honest. I mean, I actually don't. It's funny because I actually don't read a lot, and I'm not a big fan of reading, certainly as a hobby. I don't do it. I used to do it when I was really young, when I was at primary school, but something that I really just don't do anymore. So I don't get it from that, but it's just something that I've never really struggled with. But I think it's an easy problem to overcome. But the actual dissertation experience is, you shouldn't really let it define you or define your final year at uni, because it is a portion of what your work is actually worth.
You will stress.
But the stress that it causes is unrelenting, really. It's very hard to stay focused and level-headed. I mean, we had to balance our dissertation
don't.
with another unit as well, called Career Pathways. Actually, that's not true, is it? And we did have another unit alongside that as well.
A
graduate project.
We were preparing for the grad while we were doing dissertation. We were always talking. Obviously, we'd talk about the grad and another. Well, we'll talk about it in a minute, really, but because I don't know, even though we were always told, oh, that's normal to juggle so many big things at the same time. I remember we used to have conversations yeah, but no.
You will just get endless work thrown at you. You know, you think that you've done one piece of work or two pieces of work, and then it's going to be over.
I'm going to get a break. No.
And then you're gonna be able to focus on your dissertation, or you're going to be able to focus on another bit, and it doesn't stop.
No.
I think those final months at uni.
Everyone was
breakdown. It's breakdown mode. Whether that's exams, whether that's coursework, like we did, because obviously courses like ours are purely coursework oriented. There's no kind of, thankfully, there's no kind of examination process you have to do.
Apart from the technical one.
There was a technical exam that we had to sit down and do in first year in relation to camera specifications, sound specifications, to make sure that you were competent in using the technology that we were given in terms of the cameras and the lighting and the studios and things. Pretty basic stuff from my point of view, stuff that I already knew, but obviously Vicky, something you struggled with. But anyway, you clearly you mentioned before it's something that you didn't.
Yeah,
really
I'm not. That's the thing with me. I'm the technical. Yeah, right. I'm the creative ideas side. I'm not technical at all. I've just got a new camera. Found out it was all the wrong setting. Because that was a great start.
And I had to fix that.
Yeah, Dan came in and saved the day for that. Yeah, so I don't know, I feel I'm not technical in the slightest. I remember that technical exam. I was so bad, the microphones, and there's some of my sellotape on them. It wouldn't connect. I was like, totally, this looks funny, but you can't see what I'm doing, it's fine.
But we're going off topic. Anyway, dissertation, no. But dissertation is really important. I mean, obviously, when you do have a dissertation, you will have a dissertation advisor as well. And they are there to help you structure your work and to find specific research avenues and paths. And for me, I didn't really take on a lot of the advice that I was given, and I did basically go at it alone. There's nothing really helpful that I can say in terms of for this generic podcast,
research.
but it is do your research.
That's what I failed on, really.
Don't try and take on too much, because 10,000 words seems a lot, and it is a lot, but it very quickly mounts up. Never say the same thing as well. Make sure you're saying different points.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just don't let the final few months of work at uni define your time at uni, or define who you are, or just don't let it get too much as well. Make sure when you're going into your final year that you do know your dissertation's coming in, do know that it is going to be hell. If you prepare for the experience, you prepare for the feelings, and you prepare for the tasks, then you should be okay. But I think the thing is with the dissertation and with uni, to just basically take it day by day. Don't overthink. Don't try and plan too much. Just take it as it goes. Go with the flow, really. I don't know what Sam, what your kind of found, or
bring your knowledge into
your experience of the sort of the end of uni really, or the final months of uni with all the work that we got. Given what your kind of experience was with it.
Well, yeah, the dissertation was kind of interesting for me. Academic writing has always sort of been something that comes naturally to me. Even in school, when we'd have grammar exercises, I'd get full marks in all of those, and while everyone else would be getting sort of maybe half to 3/4 of the marks. And in the end, they just stopped making me do those because I knew it all. I don't quite know how, because some of those things we'd never done before, but I could just pick it up instantly. So yeah, I guess try not to brag, but I guess it's just something that's always come naturally to me. And part of the reason I chose TV production over film or something like that was because I'd get to do a dissertation, and that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted a sort of piece of writing that would define my entire sort of university journey. And I like what you said, it's finding the balance of how much to take on was important for me, because I kept finding new angles to approach it from, and it was just basically being able to choose which ones worked. And I still think that I could possibly have chosen a slightly different angle, but again, given the time that I had and the amount of work I put into it, I think I did the best that I possibly could have done. I poured myself into that for weeks. I was spending every day at the library, and I came out of it when it came to getting it printed and stuff. I came out of it thinking, oh my god, I've done literally nothing on this, because I realised that I'd poured myself into it so much that I barely had any actual memory of working on it, and that gets dangerous, because then I started thinking, what if it's a load of gibberish? But then actually having it in my hands, I suddenly realised, oh my god, I've actually put my all into this. This is the best piece of work I've ever done. I should be really proud of this. So in the end, it was all worth it. I was really happy that I'd done it, and I'm still really proud of it. I still think it's one of my best pieces of work. It's sort of kick-started my passion for writing again. Since then, I've started a blog. I've been writing about things that interest me, sort of along the same sort of lines as my dissertation, and it's kind of opened a whole new door for me, kind of given me another perspective into what I can do with my degree.
Yeah. So, to wrap it up, because we have gone over an hour, this is gonna be fun to fucking edit. So, I don't know. I feel like we leave the grad till the moused one.
Yeah.
Because that's
we'll
pretty much what that is. So, biggest regrets and biggest achievement, Sam.
Biggest regret, I guess, going to uni. Biggest achievement, going to uni.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very valid
Only one
opinion.
on our list.
No, I think for me it was certainly for the regretting side of it. I only actually started to fully enjoy and fully immerse myself in the last 18 months of uni. If that, I think maybe it was only the last 12 months of uni. It took me a while, I think, to fully throw myself in to the social side of it, because that was the bit that I struggled with at first when I first joined uni, because obviously throughout the 3 years I never actually had any housemates or flatmates or anything. But I did manage to kind of throw myself into it eventually. And I guess at the same time, my biggest achievement would probably be getting to a point in my uni social life that I was actually really happy with, going out and doing stuff that I'd never really done before. But yeah, biggest achievement is definitely got to be the graduate project that myself and Vicky and Sam were all a part of, which we'll talk about another time. But I was producing that, and for me, I've always, even when I was really young, I've always really wanted to go into sport, and sports TV is what I do now. It's always been my passion. The factual kind of sport kind of route was always my thing. Drama never really interested me. I've worked on drama projects. I've worked on feature drama films, and they've always kind of really bored me. There's a lot of waiting around. There's a lot of kind of, it's not really for me. Whereas I've always wanted to go into sport. It's always live. It's always fast. And like I say, it's what I do now, and I just love the buzz of it. But to produce something with people that I love working with, people that I trust, I think not only are they my friends, but I'm really lucky to have been able to work on a project whereby I can work. I know I'm working with people that are not only more than competent in what they're doing, but produce a level of work, a standard of work that it really is industry standard. Really, we produced it was a 20-minute drama.
Yeah, we did.
But I took care of the kind of the casting and the locations and just the whole experience. Really was the one thing that I'm really proud of doing. Really, that's the one thing I take away from uni. But if there's one piece of advice I can give, is just throw yourself into whatever experiences you can take.
But don't force yourself.
Yeah.
My biggest regret. Well, I have many big regrets. Do not comment. Crushes. That's a big regret. Not joining in more. In terms of like outside of, like, of course, like going out and stuff, because I feel like people like didn't want to invite me because they knew I'd say no, even though even the invitation would have been, I don't know, just like a, ooh, people want me kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've got many regrets, but I'm going to do a separate video on most of them because I will literally be here forever. But biggest achievement, same as Dan really, is making Masked, because that's not my first written script for a TV episode, but the first one that we can make. Even if it's not like BBC standard, it's still, we made it, this is it, this is our work out there, and having a good response. Can you remember, Dan, when we did the presentation and everyone was like, oh my god, that's so good?
Yeah, we did like a kind of a press presentation kind of pitch, kind of like a press release sort of thing, just before last Christmas, and
that's making me feel good now.
The response that we got from it, and then the work that we both put into the kind of the press side of it, and the storytelling side of it, and the way that we planned it out, and the way we'd actually presented it, we were really proud of that. That was probably one of the proudest moments.
I just remember when we sat down and then two other lecturers went, bloody hell.
And obviously the job that Sam did as well as in our graphic design.
Yeah, our graphic design and everything.
Everything about it was a really enjoyable process.
The photos we had of all of us on the screen.
That was fun.
That was great. And then, we had someone who was not in it on the screen as well. Poor Bethany.
Yeah.
This biggest achievement is, I don't know, not to sound cheesy, but making friends.
Yeah, making
just me.
Making friends, yeah. Without the whole experience, I wouldn't have met you guys. So, and many other people.
I'm gonna delete this now. So.
Yeah.
This has been over an hour. I'm probably gonna make it less than an hour.
Chop it down. Get rid
of that stupid moment where you've been immature.
It's not news.
Shut up. So, thank you for listening. If you have made it this long, I hope. Please like, subscribe. No.
Continue to support this wonderful podcast.
Yeah, continue to support this podcast. There will be more episodes. I'm not going to do a schedule because I don't want to overwhelm you. And plus, I only have 2 days off a week anyway. So, there will be more content from me. You will get more podcast episodes. You will get some face-to-camera videos, which I'm not going to tell you what they're about. One of them may be regarding Masked. It may not be. Who knows? So thank you for listening. Feel free to subscribe. I am cool. I promise. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you next time. Mwah.